You're alone in the bathroom at 2 in the morning, and it's taking longer than it used to. The sensation feels muted, like you're trying to hear a conversation through a wall. You grip harder, move faster, and afterward, there's a dull ache that lingers into the next day. You tell yourself this is just what happens when you get older, that your body is simply slowing down, but what's actually happening has nothing to do with inevitable decline and everything to do with 3 specific habits that are quietly damaging tissue you cannot afford to lose. I'm Dr. Mary Edwards, psychosexual therapist specializing in sexual health across the lifespan. My work draws heavily from Emily Nagoski's dual control model and the latest research on vascular health in aging men. Today we're covering the 3 mistakes that almost every man over 60 makes during solo sexual activity, why each one accelerates functional decline, and the exact adjustments that reverse the damage. First, I'll explain the grip pressure issue that's causing cumulative nerve desensitization. Then we'll address the frequency pattern that's undermining your cardiovascular recovery. And finally, I'm going to show you the hidden muscular habit that's cutting off blood flow at the source. And this last one is the reason most men think they need medication when they actually just need better technique. Here's what most men get wrong. They assume that as sensation decreases, they need to increase stimulation to compensate. The opposite is true. When you chase diminished sensation with harder grip and faster movement, you're training your nervous system to require progressively more intense input just to register pleasure. You're not losing sensitivity because of age. You're losing it because of how you're touching yourself. I worked with a man named Robert who came to me at 63, convinced his sex life was finished. He could only achieve release through intense, rapid friction, and with his partner he felt almost nothing. When we analyzed his solo habits, we discovered he'd spent decades conditioning his body to respond only to a level of pressure and speed that no human touch could replicate. We didn't prescribe anything. We recalibrated his touch. Within 4 weeks, he reported sensations he hadn't felt in years, and his confidence with his wife returned completely. That same recalibration is what you're about to learn. Before we go further, I want you to have the resource I built specifically to support this work. It's called The Presence Protocol: 7 Phrases That Shift Her Nervous System. When your own sexual confidence feels uncertain, this guide gives you the exact language that creates safety and desire for your partner. You'll find the link in the description below. Now let's get into the 3 mistakes that are costing you function you don't realize you're losing. The first mistake, and this is the one doing the most hidden damage, is maintaining the same grip pressure you've always used. Here's the mechanism. After 60, the small blood vessels that supply your erectile tissue become less elastic. The nerve endings, specifically the ones called mechanoreceptors that detect pressure and vibration, become less responsive when they're constantly overstimulated. It's exactly like turning up music to hear it better when your ears are tired. You're not solving the problem, you're making it worse. When you grip tightly to compensate for decreased sensation, you're compressing those blood vessels and numbing those nerve endings further. You're teaching your body that pleasure requires force, and over time, anything less than force registers as nothing. Picture this: you're holding a piece of silk between your fingers. To feel its texture, you don't squeeze it. You let it slide across your skin with almost no pressure at all. That's the touch sensitivity you need to relearn. Use high-quality lubricant every single time. This is not optional anymore. Reduce your grip pressure by at least 30% from what feels instinctive. You want to stimulate the surface nerve endings, not compress the internal structures. If you cannot feel sensation without a firm squeeze, that's your diagnostic signal. Your nerves are dormant, not dead. Don't grip harder. Maintain light contact and wait. It will take several minutes for your brain to amplify those quieter signals, but it will happen. Your calibration cue is this: if you feel any soreness or tenderness afterward, even mild, your pressure was too high. Most men need 3 to 5 sessions to recalibrate what normal pressure feels like because the habit runs so deep. But once you find the new baseline, sensitivity returns faster than you expect. The second mistake is frequency without recovery awareness. Here's what almost no one talks about openly. Ejaculation triggers a spike in prolactin, a hormone that suppresses sexual desire and takes longer to clear your system after 60 than it did when you were younger. In your 30s, hormonal rebalancing happened within 24 to 48 hours. After 60, it can take 72 to 96 hours, depending on your cardiovascular health and sleep quality. If you're engaging in solo activity daily or every other day, you're keeping yourself in chronic low-grade prolactin elevation. That means your baseline desire stays lower, your energy stays flatter, and your tissue never fully recovers between sessions. For most men over 60, optimal frequency is every 3 to 4 days, not daily. This interval allows complete hormonal rebalancing and full vascular recovery. This isn't restriction. This is working with your biology instead of against it. I've seen men regain morning erections they thought were gone forever simply by spacing their activity this way. Track your sessions for 2 weeks. If you're at daily or every other day, extend it to every third day and notice what changes. Your calibration cue is spontaneous desire. If you're rarely thinking about sex except when actively engaging, your frequency is too high. If you notice spontaneous arousal returning, thoughts, physical response, morning erections, you've found your rhythm. The third mistake, and I saved this one for last because it changes everything, is chronically clenching your pelvic floor muscles during arousal. Most men, when they want to intensify sensation or force an erection, instinctively tighten the muscles between the scrotum and anus. This feels like you're pushing the erection out or holding it in. This is a catastrophic mistake. Physiologically, pelvic floor tension restricts the pudendal nerve and narrows the arteries that supply blood to the penis. You're literally choking off your own blood supply. When you clench to try and feel more, you're activating your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight mode. Erection requires parasympathetic activation, rest, and digest. You cannot force an erection with tension. You can only invite it with relaxation. Stephen Porges's polyvagal theory explains this perfectly. Your vagus nerve must be in a state of safety and calm for sexual function to be accessible. If you're rushing or tense, your body is running a program it's not resourced to complete. The solution is what's called a reverse Kegel. Instead of pulling up and in, gently push down and out, like starting to urinate. Imagine the space between your sit bones widening. As you touch yourself, actively monitor your pelvic floor. Is it clenched? Drop it. Breathe deep into your belly, not your chest. When you release that tension, arousal might initially drop because you've relied on that tension for years. Stay with it. As the pelvic floor relaxes, blood flow increases, and your erections become fuller and more sustainable because the pathways are finally open. Now here's the action plan I promised you. This week, set aside 20 minutes for what I call a reconditioning session. This isn't about reaching climax quickly. It's about recalibrating your nervous system. Choose a warm, private space. Have lubricant ready. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Your goal is maintaining pleasure for that full duration without ejaculating and without clenching your pelvic floor. Start with a grip so light it feels ineffective. Focus entirely on skin sensation, not outcome. Before you begin, spend 2 to 3 minutes just breathing. One hand on your chest, one on your belly, inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 6. This shifts you from sympathetic to parasympathetic activation. Your first checkpoint comes at 5 minutes. You should feel relaxed, not urgent. If your mind is racing, extend the breathing phase. Your second checkpoint is at 15 minutes. Has sensitivity increased? Can you maintain arousal with minimal pressure? You're on track when you can sustain response with gentle touch and zero muscular tension in your legs and pelvis. This practice builds more than better solo experiences. It builds a nervous system that accesses arousal more easily and recovers faster. That affects everything: your energy, your confidence, your capacity with a partner. The core principle is this: sexual function after 60 isn't about what you've lost. It's about how intelligently you work with what you have. Sensitivity is built through appropriate pressure and full recovery time, not by maintaining habits that no longer serve your physiology. Hormonal balance is built through respecting your refractory period, not pushing past it. Arousal capacity is built through nervous system safety, not physical force. You're not broken. You're using an outdated operating system, and you can update it starting tonight. Tonight, choose one adjustment. Lower your grip pressure, extend your frequency, or spend 2 minutes in deliberate breathing before you begin. Pick the one that feels most relevant and notice what changes. Then come back and tell me in the comments which adjustment you chose and what you discovered. If this gave you information your doctor never mentioned, subscribe for content that treats you like an intelligent adult. Real science, practical guidance, no nonsense. And grab the Presence Protocol from the link below. Your body has changed, but nothing is over. You're just learning to work with your biology instead of against it. And that makes everything possible again.